And leading it off for the Brisbane Bandits will be the shortstop Steve Hinton. Batting 2, the second baseman Ricky Bennett. Paul Gonzalez, the third baseman, will bat 3. In the clean-up spot, it's the designated hitter and player manager David Nilsson. The left fielder Grant McDonald will bat 5. Batting 6 is Dustin Allen, the first baseman. David Foxover is the left fielder. He'll bat 7th. Batting 8 is Brett Roneberg, the right fielder. And the catcher, Peter Yates, will bat 9th. Around the field for the Perth Heat, it's John Moore in left field. The centre fielder is Clayton Byrne. And the right fielder is Shane Spry. Greg Jelks will be the third baseman. Juan Batista will be the shortstop. Second baseman is Jason Hewitt. Sean Jones is the first baseman. The catcher is Melvin Rosario. And the starting pitcher is the right-handed Brett Walters. My co-commentators for the game will be former Australian head coach Mike Young and Brisbane Bandits former championship-winning pitcher Kim Jessup.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to ANZ Stadium, Game 2 of the best-of-3 series. This is what it's all about. The Perth Heat winning Game 1, 9-1 over the Brisbane Bandits. The Bandits trying to even the score. This man, Stephen Hinton, will lead it off. With me, as always, Warren Smith and, of course, Kim Jessup. Guys, it's going to be a big game tonight.
One last chance for the Brisbane Bandits, Mike, as Steve Hinton steps in and faces the right-handed hurling Brett Walters. The first pitch, a big swing and a ball fouled back. No balls and 1 strike on Steve Hinton, who in the regular season batted .237 for the Bandits. He had 1 home run and 28 RBIs as Walters, the 0-1 pitch, off speed in the dirt.
Stevie Hinton, the man of the moment for the Bandits, captain of the Bandits, looking to get things off on the right foot for him tonight after a bit of a thumping Game 1. But when it comes down to it, they were just out-pitched. Perth Heat were really on their numbers on the first game.
Steve Montgomery, a great game for the Perth Heat in Game 1 as Walters pitches a breaking ball upstairs. 2 balls, 1 strike to the leadoff hitter and captain, Stephen Hinton.
Of course, Mike, Brett Walters comes into this championship series having played the 1996 American season as Hinton pops this up straight away centre field. Clayton Byrne stands there for an eternity, waits for that one to come down and drops the ball. Wow.
Oh my.
That's how this one starts, and who would have believed that?
Clayton Byrne is as good an outfielder as you'll ever see in FAI Cup baseball, but look at how nonchalant he is on this ball. He never really took a step, did he, Lefty? He just stood there. You'll see right now. Great shot from our cameraman. Look at him, nonchalant. He says, I got it. I'm in good position. Bang.
Wow.
Where do you hide?
Nowhere. There is not a hole out there anywhere to jump into. Clayton Byrne wishes he could. This is Ricky Bennett, the second baseman for the Bandits. They already, with nobody out here in the top of the first, have a man in scoring position. Steve Hinton getting on board via the error by the centre fielder.
Clayton his stomach would be churning so hard right now, the poor bugger. He's out there so nonchalantly, as you said, for all money he had that, and he's just wanting the ground to swallow him up right now.
A strike called there on Ricky Bennett, who during the regular season had the impressive average of .394, 1 home run and 11 ribbies to go along with it. What a good season this youngster had over there in double play combination with Steve Hinton, and that one nearly gets thrown away. In Game 1 of this series, Mike, things didn't seem to go Brisbane's way. A couple of balls that could have been fair were just foul, and tonight already, well, a shaky start from Perth, and maybe fortunes have turned the way of Brisbane here.
Well, they may have turned, but it's only the first inning, Warren, and you're right, but Perth Heat simply outplayed the Brisbane Bandits in the first game. Better pitching, better all-around hitting, home runs from Metcalf and Byrne, 9-1 victory.
Walters comes home inside. Bennett.
The bats were certainly singing for the Perth Heat last night. There is no doubt about that. Young Williams on the mound for Brisbane. Fantastic form in Adelaide to help them get to this situation to be in the grand final playoff. But last night things just didn't go his way, and the Perth Heat just swung some hot bats last night.
2 balls, 1 strike. Walters comes inside again.
Right now you can see Brett Walters pitching to Melvin Rosario with a man on second base and nobody out. They're throwing fastballs inside. Really what Ricky Bennett is trying to do is hit the ball to the right side of the field to advance Steve Hinton, but Walters is missing that inside corner and falls behind 3-1 and now walks Ricky Bennett.
Those last three pitches as well, all inside of that one, up high. So Walters struggling with his control there to Bennett. And that will take us to the number 3 hitter, Paul Gonzalez.
We watched that replay there, the ball well inside. Brett Walters now has to dig deep. The big man Clayton Byrne has made a mistake, and one thing as a pitcher that you always try to do when your club has put it in for you all season out there to get you to this situation, you've got to dig deep and try and get your club out of this now with as little damage control as possible.
He's going to have to really dig deep, because this man, Paul Gonzalez, a .323 batting average, 15 dingers, 15 home runs for the big fella, 41 runs scored, but a big 54 runs batted in. And with David Nilsson on deck, you've got to pitch to Paul Gonzalez or face the .420 bat of David Nilsson.
1 ball, no strike, off speed, and Walters misses again. 5 straight now out of the strike zone.
Very interesting, Kim. 2 straight pitches to Gonzalez. Right-handed pitcher Walters, left-handed hitter Gonzalez, both breaking balls.
Yeah, they've been working. Game 1, they worked a lot on Paul Gonzalez. We see a trip to the mound by Joe Ferguson, the manager of the Perth Heat. Breaking balls away, fast balls in. I know that's an old remedy for most hitters, a recipe on most hitters, but particularly Paul Gonzalez last night, and they did a great job on him keeping his bat quiet.
Ferguson trots back to the dugout. I'm sure he didn't envisage being out there in the middle of it all. So early in this game, he was just sitting back, relaxing last night, enjoying the proceedings. Well, different situation here this evening so far.
Joe Ferguson, though, I'll tell you what, he's been in the middle of a few things. Joe Ferguson, a little trivia, was the catcher when Hank Aaron hit the home run to break the all-time record he was catching in that ball game. Joe Ferguson, the manager for the Perth Heat, as Gonzalez takes 3 balls. So Brett Walters is really working himself into a big hole here in the top half of the first inning.
And Walters during the regular season has been so tough on left-handers. They hit just .204 off him before the playoffs. 3-0 pitch. He checks Hinton, comes home and fires that one down the tube for a strike.
3 balls, 1 strike to Paul Gonzalez, taking all the way with David Nilsson on deck. Right now, you can really look at Paul Gonzalez. He's going to focus in for a pitch he can really handle, or he'll be taking this as well. He's going to look 1 pitch, 1 location.
It all rests on Brett right here. David Nilsson batting behind Paul Gonzalez.
Good swing there, and only just missing that one. A real good hack at that.
That's got to be in the back of Brett's mind. David Nilsson following the order. They tell you can't worry about the next year, you can't do this, you can't do that, but when you've got a man of that stature and that ability in the lineup, and if you've got loaded bases, there is nowhere to put the big David, and there's the man.
Recently re-signed with the Milwaukee Brewers for another 3 seasons for $14 million Australian. Popped up and out of play once again. The count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes on Paul Gonzalez. Well, even though Perth came into this game tonight leading 1-0 in the series and doing it quite comfortably, as we said, 9-1 in game 1, there would be a few butterflies. They've been in this situation a few times and haven't been able to come through, especially last year in the playoffs against Sydney, after leading by 2 runs in extra innings and couldn't come up with a victory. Gonzalez takes strike 3. So the Perth Heat get their first out, but maybe they're feeling a few nerves here on the verge of wrapping up their second championship series victory. Of course, the last time they did it, Mike, it was you that was in charge.
Well, it's a long time ago, different players. That man, number 21, Brett Walters, was just a young fella. We just had him throw a couple of bullpens in those days. He was one of the guys that were going to come in for us in the next couple of years, and now he's a San Diego Padre, and right now pitching the biggest game of his life, Game 2 of the playoff championship series, FAI Cup baseball, and facing David Nilsson.
First pitch up high. Hinton still at second base, and Ricky Bennett, the second baseman, is over there at first as Dave Nilsson stands in the box as now Melvin Rosario comes out as we Take a look there. Just a very, very quick word. I'm not sure
Touch
what
and go.
that may have been. Only a couple of little relays just to get the legs warm.
I've never seen a trip like that, guys.
That was the shortest conversation between a catcher and a pitcher in baseball history.
I think the Air Force call it touch and go, don't they?
Hit the strip and back you go. Nelson lifted to right field. Out there is Shane Spry. Just in front of the wall, has room. Hinton will tag up and advance to third base. 2 away now for the Bandits here in the top of the first. Stevie Hinton goes to third. Ricky Bennett holds up at first base. One danger averted by Brett Walters.
Don't think David will be all that happy with this. That ball was right there for the big fella. And he lifts it into right field for Shane Spry. Runner advances to third. We got runners at first and third. Grant McDonald at the plate.
Not a bad job of hitting by David Nilsson. Didn't get all of it and get around on it, but it really comes down to that Paul Gonzalez at bat. Hate to go back on that, but to take a called third strike in that situation, you know, that really cost the Brisbane Bandits.
Grant McDonald, of course, one of the leading hitters in the Australian Baseball League this season, a .354 batting average during the regular season. Added to that 6 home runs and 28 runs batted in. Now we can see Rosario come out and just give the signs to the middle infielders what he intends to do should Ricky Bennett take off for second base. 2 away for the Bandits. Runners at the corners. Walters spins to Sean Jones, who had himself quite a night out in game 1 of this series. 3 hits for the Perth Heat, a couple of them crucial, driving in runs, and he scored twice himself. McDonald now waits. 0-1. Tries a running bunt. That will be called a strike, and McDonald isn't happy about the call.
Well, Grant McDonald definitely squared around. A good call by Jared Tankard, the home plate umpire. I don't know, Grant should have been able to pull off that ball. It was over his head. He wasn't able to do so, so it's 2 strikes. You know, Ricky Bennett is a definite steal threat at first base for the Bandits. He stole 13 bases on the seasons in 15 attempts.
0-2, outside looking for the corner.
Good
Just
spot
missed.
from Brett Walters. You get ahead 0-2 on a hitter. You obviously don't want to give up a hit in this situation. Excellent pitch outside, too far for Grant McDonald to handle, but could still tempt him into a swing.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Protect the plate swing for McDonald. That one back to the screen. Stays 1 and 2. How dearly they'd love to get something going here and play from in front after being behind the whole time in game 1 of this series.
Well, they sure had their opportunity, Warren. You know, first and second, nobody out. Brett Walters, a little bit of butterflies. Gonzalez let him off the hook with a called third strike. David hit a long fly ball, just didn't get all of it. Right now, everything's on the shoulders of Grant McDonald, the Olympian, the center fielder for the Bandits.
Inside, takes that. Not called by the home plate umpire. Jared Tankard around the bases this evening. Jeff Brand is the first base umpire. At second base is Ian Taylor. Gordon Wright is at third. John Chowker is in left field. Gary Kennedy is in right.
For the playoff series, they have umpires down the lines that actually take all balls in the outfield and foul and fair balls right on the lines.
2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strike as Bennett goes on the 2-2 pitch, and McDonald fouls it back.
Kim Jessup, Brett Walters is starting to show us a fastball with a lot of run on it, starting the ball over the middle of the plate, coming in on the right-handed hitters. That's what he struck Paul Gonzalez off. He threw a fastball, started inside. Gonzo actually started to back off, and it came back in and caught the inside corner. So he's got good movement on his fastball tonight.
That's one thing any pitcher needs and would like to have, is good movement on their fastball, on any of their pitches, but particularly their fastball.
2-2 pitch. Bennett goes again, and that one strikes McDonald on the left upper arm, and he will go to first base.
Big opportunity, and something the Bandits would dearly love to get here is a couple of runs after the game 1, going down 9-1.
The key here, Smitty, is that right now the right-handed hitters have to be very, very patient, get a ball out over the plate, let the ball run like that. That's the ball you want to be looking for to hit. Let that ball in the middle of the plate run in on you for a ball. You have to look out over the plate with Brett Walters and be very patient.
Allen, a .295 clip during the regular season, 5 home runs, 35 RBIs as well as Walters. 0-1. Gets Allen to foul that one back. The count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. In this same situation in game 1 of the playoff series between the Bandits and the Giants last week at Norwood Oval. The bases were juiced and Dusty Allen tattooed one way back and out of left field at Norwood. That made it 9-0 for the Bandits. They wrapped up game 1 and as a consequence won it 2 straight the night after.
Yes, they did. The Brisbane Bandits won 2 straight, as well as the Perth Heat over last year's FAI Cup champion Sydney Blues in Perth at the WACA. So Dustin Allen, a lot of pressure on him right now against Brett Walters. The key here is Brett Walters has thrown a lot of pitches here in the first inning that could pay off for the Bandits later in the game.
It's one thing any pitcher doesn't want.
1 ball, 2 strike. The ball gets away from Rosario. Hinton will try and score and crosses the plate. Brisbane will play from in front. They lead it 1-0 here in the top of the first on the pass ball from Melvin Rosario. A pitch inside which he just didn't handle.
Lefty, that's what we were talking about. The good run on the fastball by Brett Walters, you know, it's really running up and away to left-handers. In this case, right-handers up and in. It just got away from Melvin Rosario, who usually is an excellent defensive catcher.
Oh, one of the best, there's no doubt about that, Melvin Rosario. And exactly that, movement can mess with the hitters, can also mess with the catchers.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Allen. That one inside as well. Full count now on Allen with runners still second and third. Bennett is at third base. Grant McDonald is at second. Big chance once again for the Bandits. Just outside. Ball 4 and Allen will go to first base. Brett Walters goes deep into the Bandits lineup here in the top of the first.
Warren, Rosario's not happy about this, but that is a very good call by Jared Tankard, and I'll tell you why, because Walters has been working inside. Now that ball was a little bit out. Some umpires would have called that a strike if Walters was working the outside corner, but he's been working inside. Now he goes outside. You're not going to get that really close call in that situation. If
you continuously hit a spot with most umpires in this league and work that area religiously, you'll sometimes get a couple of centimetres either side of the plate. They might not be an actual strike, but the umpire will give you if you're continuously hitting the glove.
David Foxover at the plate. 1 for 3 in game 1 of this championship series. Curveball from Walters. Greg Jelks, a 2-hopper, has plenty of time to throw Foxover out at first base and end it. But after the top of the first, it's the Bandits leading the Heat 1-0 here at ANZ.
This is a game both pitchers, any pitcher worth his salt would love to be pitching in. Can win a championship for the Perth Heat tonight. Brett Walters, Brandon Reed, his side got a thumping in game 1. Can come out here tonight, stretch it into game 3 for the Bandits. It all comes down to tonight.
Well, Brandon Reed's going to have his hands full with the Perth Heat lineup. Brandon Reed, the import, the American from the Detroit Tigers. He'll be facing one of Australia's best, the Olympian, the second baseman, Jason Hewitt. Jason Hewitt comes into the game with a .350 batting average. Warren Smith with 3 home runs and 13 RBIs.
And after being in the number 2 spot in game 1 of this series, he is back at the top of the lineup. Juan Batista, who led it off in game 1 for the Heat, will bat 9 in this game. A ground ball, first pitch from the bat of Hewitt. Dawson Allen fields it, then runs across to first to record the putout. 1 pitch, 1 out. The Brisbane Bandits lead the Perth Heat 1-0. After Steve Hinton crossed on a pass ball in the top of the inning, the Brisbane Bandits scoring without recording a base hit.
The bread and butter from Brandon Reed we saw on the replay. Gets the fastball down. There's that movement, gets the sink on the ball. Tough for any hitter.
Clayton Byrne at the plate. Home run in last night's game 1. A huge shot to left field. Left the park in a hurry. Reed, good off speed.
Good breaking ball from Brandon Reed. Don't you just know Clayton Byrne right now wants to make up for that dropped fly ball, man. He's geared up.
You put it anywhere close, Clayton is going to give it all he's got.
Played in all 60 games of the regular season for Perth in 1996-97. Real veteran, you could say now, of the Heat. Of course, you managed him, Mike, when you were over in Perth, when you guys won the championship back in 1990-91.
His rookie year, Clayton Byrne played left field in that championship series against the old Dykey Dolphins. Good breaking ball from Brandon Reed. Catches the outside corner. Byrne swings and misses for the second out. But Clayton Byrne went on, as you'll see the replay. Breaking ball shows it's just a little too good this time for Clayton. But Clayton Byrne went on, Warren Smith, to sign with the Baltimore Orioles and went all the way to AAA, an injury hampering his further progress to the major league. So that young man, now eligible, of course, to play for Australia because of new ruling, but he's been a heck of a baseball player for a long time.
Melvin Rosario lashes a line drive for a base hit. First pitch he faces from Brandon Reed. The Heat get a man on with 2 away here in the bottom of the first. Down 1-0 to the Bandits. What an impressive player this man is. Batted number 6 in the lineup in game 1, is now batting 3 in this game. Brandon Reed, the right-handed pitcher. Last night it was Jeff Williams, the left-hander. Hence Rosario's dropped down the lineup, even though he is a switch hitter. Hard hit ball just foul off the bat of Greg Jelks. Talking of good hitters, this man can do it all.
Well, a .375 batting average with 11 home runs, number 44, Jelksy, lefty. I know you faced Greg Jelks a few times, and he can put the fear into any pitcher. This man right there has been through the wars.
He does get his fair share of respect from any pitcher in the league. Obviously, fear doesn't really come into it, but respect plays a big part. And this man here, you make a mistake, you can kiss it goodbye.
How about Lefty on the fair thing? He says, no way, I wasn't afraid, but I respected him a little bit. But don't say Lefty's afraid. Right away, he gets his hackles up.
I won't say he's afraid, but he trotted out of the bullpen a couple of times with a helmet on. Rosario goes. Reed will throw to Bennett in time. Picked off, but caught stealing in the end. Rosario broke for second base. Reed had time to whirl and throw to Bennett, and the tag was there in plenty of time. So the Heat run themselves out of the inning. And after 1 complete, it's Brisbane 1, Perth 0. Top of the second coming up. And it will be the 8, 9 and 1 hitters for the Bandits. Brett Ronneberg will lead it off. In the top of the second, 0 for 4 in game 1 of this series. Takes a fastball right down the middle, first pitch for a strike.
Excellent damage control by Walters in that first inning. Could have opened the floodgates for the Bandits against Perth. Stuck to his guns, got his side out of a big hole, and they're only chasing 1 run here at the top of the second inning.
Ronneberg swinging the wooden bat and swinging it well. Rising line drive into the gap in right centre field. Rounding first. He'll try and stretch this into a double and does so standing up.
Brett Ronneberg, the young man from Cairns in far north Queensland, only 18 years old, signed with the Florida Marlins. You'll see a fastball from Brett Walters, leaks out over the plate. That's the ball, Kim, just that we've been talking about. Starts off in the inside half and comes out over the plate right off the Courier Mail sign. An absolute rocket into right center to lead off the second inning for the Bandits. Look out, the fire's going on for both ball clubs.
That rip right there belies his average at the moment, sitting down under 200. But yes, a great prospect for baseball and for the Bandits, Brett Ronneberg.
Peter Yates at the plate, the catcher. A veteran for the Bandits. A chance here to drive in a run and give the Bandits a 2-0 lead. Walters comes home, bunts to the right side. Advancing Ronneberg to third base. Sean Jones fields it. And Yates, resigned to the fact that he wasn't going anywhere, gives himself up. Advances Ronneberg, you see, talking to the third base coach Stuart Robic for the Bandits.
Can't ask much more from the number 9 hitter. Sacrifice yourself, advance that man to third base. Many different types of chances to score the man from third base with less than 2 out. PD8 stopping on the line there, letting the first baseman come up to make sure that he wouldn't even think about a throw across the third base.
This is playoff baseball, Warren Smith. You got to drive this run in with less than 2 outs. Stephen Hinton's the guy that can do it, though, the Olympian, the captain. This is why he's back leading off for David Nilsson's Brisbane Bandits.
And it was off his bat that Clayton Byrne dropped that ball in centre field to lead off the game, and Hinton eventually scoring in the top of the first without the Bandits recording a single base hit in the inning. Walters comes home. Rosario blocking, curveball to his right-hand side. 2 balls, no strikes. Walters goes behind here to Hinton. Speaking to a number of players up here for the festivities this weekend, everybody has said the times they've seen Brett Ronneberg in action in the batting cage or on the field, they like what they see. And some guys around the league who've been there and done it at levels in professional baseball in the States as well as back here in the ABL. I
like Brett Ronneberg. It's going to take him a long time, but I don't like that swing that Steve Hinton just took. A 2-0 swing, ball in his eyes, a little over anxious. They're going to have to be a little bit more patient with Brett Walters. There's another one, 4 balls out of the strike zone. Now that's what's going to lose your ball games. Steve Hinton has to settle down. This guy's got control problems, and the Bandits are letting him off the hook.
Yeah, you like that. Believe me, you like that as a pitcher when you aren't putting the ball where you want to, and a hitter does that for you and get you right back into the count with him.
It should have been 4 straight to Hinton, and he should be posted over there at first base. Pops it up to centre field. It's a carbon copy of the first inning. Byrne takes it this time. Ronneberg tagging, will try and score. Here's the throw, off target. Ronneberg crosses the plate, and Brisbane lead Perth 2-0 here in the top of the second.
High fives all around for the young left-handed hitter Ronneberg. Another high fastball. This time Stevie lifts it just far enough. A great throwing arm from Clayton Byrne, and he did a good job. He got momentum, but look at the ball. Casted well down the third base line. Melvin Rosario, man, he got out of the way, lefty, because I'll tell you what, if he'd have stayed in the line, Ronneberg would have just tore him up.
Clayton Byrne looks on. As Ricky Bennett comes to the plate for the second time in this game, he walked against Walters first time round.
And that's called putting the catcher on the Christmas tree right there. Arm stretched, legs sprayed. It would have hurt.
That one outside. 2 balls, no strikes on Ricky Bennett. 2 away here in the top of the second.
You know, Warren, very surprising. Ricky Bennett was eligible for Rookie of the Year honors, won by Robbie Wells, and justifiably so. Robbie Wells, the left-handed pitcher, who we may see if it goes to Game 3 for the Perth Heat, won the award, but this man was eligible, a .394 batting average, and didn't get nominated.
Ground ball, chopper, back out the middle. Batista running and throwing in time to Sean Jones. After 1.5. The Bandits extend their lead. They lead the Perth Heat 2-0. Perth lead the best of 3 series. 1-0.
David Nilsson doesn't look too tight, though. The skipper stretching it out a little bit. Leaves on Wednesday and starts big league spring training on Thursday, so no time off for the $1 million man.
But like Greg Jelks, he has to take charge.
This is Jelks at the plate, facing Brandon Reed. As you mentioned, the former major leaguer, played with the Philadelphia Phillies some years ago now, the 35-year-old. Been in the Australian Baseball League for some time. Started out with the Perth Heat. Set the league on fire when he first came in, and then moved across to the Melbourne Reds and is back in the black of the Perth Heat. Outside from Reed.
Brandon Reed pitching around Greg Jelks a little bit, trying to hit the corners and falls behind. 3 balls, no strikes. Not what you want to do when your team has a 2-0 lead. Comes right back on the knees. Jelks, he says, was it downstairs a little bit? Greg Jelks, he loves to play the game, Greg Jelks.
Really is a great character and a fair basketballer as well. Plays in the West Australian State League. That one up high, he goes to first on ball 4. Reed comes out, walks the leadoff man, and that will get us to Sean Jones, who had 3 hits in Game 1.
You know, Kim, the thing about it is you don't walk people with the Perth Heat, because as a pitcher, you start walking people. Greg Jelks on first base with that base on balls. These guys can go deep out of the ballpark 1 through 9. You start walking people in a couple of long balls, and they can blow you out real quick.
You talk about protection for hitters, and each hitter, the better the hitter behind you, the more protection you get, the better pitches you're going to see. And exactly right, Michael, the Perth Heat, you have to be on your mettle with every hitter.
And Sean Jones, a very consistent hitter, 329 batting average during the regular season. Against right-handed pitchers, he batted 321. Against lefties, 364. He doesn't really mind what side they're throwing from. Curveball in the dirt, not cool.
One thing about Sean Jones, Warren, I remember when the Perth Heat played against the Reds, when David Nilsson was with the Reds, he is a double play threat. He does not run good, and if he hits a ground ball, you'll see the defense on the left side. They play him to pull all ground balls. Ricky Bennett's playing right behind second base. As our cameraman shows, Ricky Bennett, he's got a big hole on the right side. Sean Jones will pull the ball on the ground more times than not. If he does it this time, it should be a double play.
1 ball, 1 strike. Reed checks Jelks at first base. Looks in for the sign, then spins again. Allen applies the tag, but Jelks back there in plenty of time.
Greg Jelks mightn't have the speed of a lot of base runners in this league in the FAI Cup, but he has the knowledge and he has the know-how to get up there. He knows the signals to look for on a pitcher. There's certain things you'll key off on a pitcher when you want to steal. And Greg Jelks will have zoned in on something with Brandon Reed.
Inside. 2 balls, 1 strike now on Sean Jones. Well, teams were able to run on the Bandits rather successfully during the regular season. 70 stolen base attempts. Of those 70 times, the other teams were successful, 63.
Not a good percentage at all. And you can bet that Joe Ferguson, a former major league catcher himself, knows all about that, and they will be starting guys up, and Greg Jelks was running on that pitch. So I'm sure that the Perth Heat will exploit that weakness of the Brisbane Bandits. You'll see Greg Jelks only 4 stolen bases on the season, but he had 4 out of 5.
Count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jones, with the Bandits leading the Perth Heat. 2-0 here in the bottom of the second, a run in each of the top of the first and second for Brisbane. It has been a dream start for them. 2 runs on just 1 hit to this point of the game. Jones, hard hit ground ball, foul down the third base side.
Brandon Reed trying to stay relaxed. None out here so far. Sean Jones up to bat, and we look at his broken helmet. He must be his lucky helmet. We commented on it a couple of weeks ago in Melbourne. The big fella doesn't want to get rid of it.
Brandon Reed, a 3.33 earned run average through 97 and a third innings in the regular season. A tailing fastball just inside of Jones. 3 balls and 2 strikes now.
Very interesting right now. Nobody out, 2-0. The Perth Heat are down. I think Joe Ferguson will start Jelksy up right now and really get something going. You know, he's going to be aggressive. Starting him up right now, a ground ball should keep the Perth Heat out of the double play. 3-2 count. Jelksy's going, and that ball gets away.
Oh, they just struck him on the right forearm, or indeed just went back to the screen off the glove of Peter Yates. And let's have a look at here on the replay. I'm pretty sure this just gets a little bit of Sean Jones. There it is, on the inside of the right elbow. Jelks goes to second base, Jones to first, and look out, Scott Metcalf will come to the plate, the designated hitter in game 2 of this series. A solo home run in game 1. He's only at bat in that game.
Lefty right now. Brandon Reed's doing the same thing. Brett Walters, the fastball's running away. He's going to have to get himself under control.
He's going to have to settle down. That's obvious. We've got 2 on base now, none out. In this potent lineup from the Perth Heat. Brisbane trying to hang on to this 2-run lead here early in the game. And exactly that, yes, his ball's moving well, but he's got to get it back down into that lower part of the strike zone.
1 ball, no strikes. Reed spins and attempts pick off Jelks there. Hinton Got the tag down, and Jelks was only just back there. Good move by Reed.
Very close play, but you'll see good athletic move by Reed. Jelks back safely. Ian Taylor, great call. The umpire at second base. This man, Scotty Metcalf, a pinch hit home run in game 1 for the Perth Heat.
Ground ball. Allen will field it and get the put out at first base. The runners advance. Jelks goes to third. Jones goes to second. Runners in scoring position now, 2 of them for the Heat, with 1 away here in the bottom of the second.
He gets the ground ball here, but unfortunately for the Bandits, a chopping ground ball down to Dusty Allen at first base with no option but to take the put out at first. Now we've got the open base. Johnny Moore, another one of the power hitters from the Perth Heat lineup, but they have that open.
Line drive over the head of Gonzalez at third. Jelks will score. They hold Jones up at third base. Wow, just like that, John Moore unloads a rocket to left field. And Perth are on the board. It's 2-1 Brisbane here in the bottom of the second.
See that replay, that ball down, good part of the plate. Johnny Moore turned on it well to get 1 run on the board for his club. He positions himself at first base. Runners at first and third now with 1 out.
Bottom line is, you walk a guy, you hit a guy, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Now Brandon Reed with 1 out, facing the left-handed hitter Shane Spry. The young man's .273 batting average and 7 home runs. Very good numbers. First pitch breaking ball for Reed, a strike. Very good numbers because only 110 at bats. He's had 30 hits. So the young man can really hit the right fielder for the Perth Heat. Anything now except a double play and the Perth Heat will tie the ball game.
First and third with 1 away. Spry grounded out in his only at-bat in game 1 of this series. Came into pinch hit late in the game when Perth had well and truly wrapped it up. Going on to seal it 9-1 eventually. Curveball inside again, and Reed has lost it for the moment here.
Yes, he has, Warren. He's lost control of both of his pitches. His fastball running away from the left-handed hitters out of the strike zone, and his breaking ball failing to find the mark as well.
He'll have to get back on it real quick. We've spoken a lot already early in this game about the potency of this Perth Heat lineup. We see a swing and miss from Shane Spry. 2 strikes, 2 balls. Good breaking pitch from Brandon. But they need a lot more, and he's got to get it back where his catcher wants it, or they could be in a lot of trouble.
Spry steps in. Reed just fakes a move. Moore standing at first base holds his ground. Jones over there at third, just 90 feet away from tying up this ball game for the Perth Heat. Reed checks the runner and comes home. Swing and a miss. Spry goes down swinging. Reed 1 out away from getting out of the inning.
Lefty, that's a big pitch, a breaking ball, back-to-back breaking balls down out of the strike zone. The youth of Shane Spry, a little over-anxious. He can't catch up, so that's a big strikeout. Now they're going to be facing the right-handed hitting, the 9-hitter. Maybe a major league defensive player is Juan Bautista, but only hitting .226 on the year. So Brandon Reed's got a chance to come out of this inning, even though he struggled with only giving up a 1 run and the Bandits still leading.
Yep, big out right here for the Bandits. If Brandon Reed can get it for them, number 9 hitter got to bear down and get this one.
Jones still at third base. Batista, weak ground ball to Dusty Allen. 1 pitch and 1 out to the number 9 hitter. And at the end of 2, it's the Brisbane Bandits leading the Perth Heat 2-1. We've got a good one here in game 2.
There's the brain trust, Joe Ferguson, and of course with the mustache. I love it the way coaches sit, you know. They got the legs crossed. I mean, that's the coach's thing, you know. Joe Ferguson, though, look at, as soon as I sit, Joe Ferguson does it, and Tony Adamson mimics him. Of course, Tony Adamson, the third base coach, also the all-time home run leader of FAI Cup baseball. We're going into the top of the third inning, and Paul Gonzalez struck out looking his last time facing Brett Walters, and once again, Smitty, Walters losing control upstairs on the first pitch to Paul Gonzalez in the third inning.
1-0 the count on Gonzalez, who struck out, as you say, looking first time around in the first inning. The Bandits eventually scoring, though. Stevie Hinton crossing the plate. Brisbane didn't get a hit in that inning. They still have one to this point. Perth have two. On the runs tally, it's the other way around. It's Brisbane 2 and Perth 1 here in the top of the third. 1 ball, 1 strike on Paul Gonzalez.
Paul Gonzalez, a AAA player in professional baseball with the Chicago White Sox. An easy fly ball. Clayton Byrne won't take this easy this time. He goes and squeezes it. I don't think you'll see what happened in the first inning happen again to that man, number 45, Clayton Byrne.
In the rest of his career, mind you. Not just tonight or in a couple of seasons' time. Never again will Clayton Byrne drop one the way he did in the top of the first. Seen some bizarre plays in recent seasons to haunt the Perth Heat. Will that be one of them? Dave Nielsen at the plate. Takes off speed from Brett Walters for strike 1.
Looking to get that breaking ball down a little bit further. Not quite over the middle of the plate. David, though, the experience, just taking the first pitch, having a look at Walters.
Fastball inside taken. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Interesting the way they're trying to work Dave Nielsen. They're really trying to pitch him in. He doesn't quite have his swing. Hasn't, he's only been up about 50 at bats this year, exactly 50 going into the playoffs. That fastball away. The thing is once he gets his swing, we all know what he can do, but still, he's not quite, doesn't quite have the bat speed. He hasn't gone to spring training. It just missed that one in the first inning, so they're really mixing the pitches up. And Warren, I like to see young pitchers try to bust the major leaguer inside, not showing any fear in the inside half of the plate.
And that's something that got Adelaide in a bit of trouble last week in Adelaide against the Bandits. David Nielsen, they didn't want to go after him. They stayed away from him, and it got him into trouble.
As it has done to many teams in the past. Nielsen takes that inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That bat he's using weighs 40 ounces, would you believe, when the norm is, well, down in the low 30s for most baseballers. That really is a heavy bat that Dave Nielsen swings most of the time to good effect. That one fouled off.
Lefty, that swing he just took right there, number 14, the big fella. If he got that one, we'd be still chasing that in the center of the city, which is about 2 miles away. 40-ounce bat, you get that sucker through the zone, man, and catch that ball out in front, you're going to hit it a long way.
They're talking 40 ounces. One of the greatest hitters around, Paul Coogan, used to play in the FAI Cup. He used to ring a swing of 36 ounce, and I thought that sucker was heavy, but it's nothing on this lumber that Nielsen's got in his hand.
34 inches long and 40 ounces. Heavy, way inside. Backs Nielsen away. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the major leaguer has a little smile about it.
David Nielsen, a little smile. He knows they're trying to work him inside. He was telling me with a smile on his face, I just don't have my swing quite right yet, Mike. They're trying to bust me inside.
Full count. Inside again. Nielsen will trot to first base. The man on first, sorry, Kim, with 1 away here in the top of the third, and that will bring up Grant McDonald, who was hit by the pitch first time round.
Brett getting this ball inside, but it is good to see that this young man is going after him, and he's going to have to do it all game to keep his club in this hunt.
You'll see Sean Jones and David Nielsen having a bit of a chat. 2 of the great players of FAI Cup baseball. And this man, the Olympian, the center fielder, takes a first pitch curveball from Brett Walters for strike 1. Grant McDonald, of course, hit by a pitch, his first at bat. .354 batting average on the season with 6 home runs, 28 runs batted in, and 32 runs scored. So Grant McDonald, one of the best hitters in this league or in any league.
2-1 Bandits. McDonald tries to drop the running bunt down. Fouls it back to the screen. Count goes no balls, 2 strikes. Just thinking back to that little chat between Sean Jones and Dave Nilsson, they're having a bit of a laugh over at first base. I don't care what the situation is, championship series or not, if you're at first base and Dave Nilsson's there running and he's on the opposing team, you're still going to laugh. You're going to have a good time with Dave because he's a major leaguer and that's what it's all about. And you're just happy to be on the field with him.
Well, he's a great one, and isn't it great that he's giving something back to Australian baseball? That's what it's all about. Grant McDonald shoots
other
that
way.
ball into right center, and a great running catch by Clayton Byrne. Look at this play! David Nilsson thought it might drop, and Clayton Byrne comes, spins, fires. That's why we were so surprised that he dropped that fly ball. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get any better than this.
Oh, Kim Jessup, talk us through this. What a play.
Clayton Byrne on the run, spin and throw. Got all he could on this. Jonesy does the rest for him. A sliding David Nilsson, not in time. Fantastic play. Was a 1 in 10 chance of getting that on the money, and he got it right there.
Jason Hewitt leading off. We're in the bottom of the third inning, and Hewitt, a ground ball, a comebacker right at Reed. Hewitt's only seen 2 pitches, and he's 0 for 2.
Good job by Brendan Reed. Turns himself into another infielder with that one. Helping his club out, helping himself out. Does a good job.
Lefty, that's just the way you used to pick him.
Oh, mate, I was awesome, wasn't I? Tell you what, I saw the pitcher from Perth Heat get hit last night, putting his bare hand in the road of a ball. I wouldn't put my glove hand in the road, let alone my bare hand. The hitter was dead set unlucky if it ended up in my glove.
Clayton Byrne at the plate with yet another chance to redeem his error from the top of the first. But the great thing about sport, there's always going to be another chance to make amends.
Well, he's already made amends defensively with that unbelievable play. Not only the catch, but what about the throw? And Clayton Byrne, hey, let's not talk about his defense. You're talking about a guy that comes in with 15 home runs. He pops that one up. It's going to be a souvenir for one of our many fans here at ANZ Stadium. FAI Cup Baseball Championship game number 2. Clayton Byrne, Warren, came into this game with a .316 batting average, and that was 15 home runs, 48 runs batted in. So this guy can do it all defensively and, of course, offensively.
Reed looks in, shakes off one sign from Peter Yates, and comes home a soft pop-up down to right field, drops in foul.
Good breaking ball from Brandon Reed. He's finding his breaking ball, Kim, a little bit in this inning. He didn't have it last inning. He was overthrowing it a bit. So, you know, sometimes it's funny. Guys come into the game and they're really strong because they're fired up. And as they get into the game, you know, they start to get themselves a little bit tired and they get a little bit better control.
Yeah, sometimes you can be too fresh. Don't put the ball where you want it. Sometimes being a little bit tired can help a pitcher. And it helps get your location, which is the most important thing for any pitcher, is being able to put the pitch where you want it, when you want it.
Reed misses down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 away here in the bottom of the third. And Brisbane leading Perth 2 runs to 1. Game 2 of this championship series. Perth up a game. Looking to clinch it here this evening. Fastball back out of play.
A big crowd at ANZ Stadium watching this man, Clayton Byrne. Look at the pipes on this guy. He's come a long way. Just a little skinny kid when I was managing him. Goes over to pro ball, gets into the weights. Weightlifting, of course, being a big thing with baseball players this day. A lot of guys have really put on the pounds and the strength, and it's added to those home run numbers. And Lefty, I'll tell you what, when you were a pitcher and you were a good one, luckily, you're just now got out and retired. These guys here, I'll tell you what, you'd have had to throw inside.
Ah, well. We'll think about that one.
Living on the outside corner. Could be a title of your book. The autobiography.
Bestseller.
Kim Jessup. Long ball lifted deep to left field. Way back and gone. And we are tied. 2-2 in the bottom of the third at ANZ Stadium. Clayton Byrne goes from 0 to hero.
Well, Clayton Byrne, number 45, is fired up. A hanging breaking ball from Brandon Reed. You got to get it down. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot put the ball here right over the middle of the plate. See ya. Clayton Byrne, long gone and deep off the mark. Fox over against the fence, can only look and hope.
We got ourselves a tight ball game. Clayton Byrne erasing that first inning error. But whether you throw 70 or 90 mile an hour, you get that pitch inside. Most hitters will balk on it, but that one wasn't quite inside enough for Clayton Byrne, and he has ripped it a ton.
Rosario lifts this. The back of second base coming in right field is Brent Ronneberg. 2 outs for the Heat here in the bottom of the third. Clayton Byrne locking us all up at 2 with a solo bomb to left field. What a hit it was.
See Rosario going down after this one. But again, just a gentle fly ball out to Ronneberg in right field. 2 outs.
Greg Jelks steps up. Walked his first time around. A big swing. That first pitch from Brandon Reed.
That's a good spot for the breaking ball, though. That's where it's got to be. It starts high and out over the middle of the plate. Good bite at the end, catches the outside corner downstairs. Nobody's going to hit that breaking ball. You get it out over the middle plate and up, though, like he did against Clayton Byrne, and you're going to get hurt. How about this lineup, though? Brandon Reed, gets Rosario, and you think you got a little bit of a break with 2 outs, and who steps up? 375 hitter, Greg Jelks.
Hard ground ball, high chopper in the end to Paul Gonzalez. He makes the 5-3 play. That will wrap it up. After 3, Brisbane 2, Perth 2 in game 2.
The score remains locked up at 2 apiece through the 4th and top of the 5th innings. So let's go back to the game in the bottom of the 5th.
We're going into the bottom of the 5th inning. Juan Bautista, the shortstop, the defensive specialist, will lead off for the Perth Heat. Bautista so far, he's faced 1 pitch, a breaking ball from Brandon Reed, a curveball, and he grounded out to Dustin Allen unassisted. Allen took it himself, so Bautista comes into the game with only 226. He'll also try to bunt a la Ricky Bennett and foul it off. Juan Bautista has some speed. He has stolen 19 bases out of 24 attempts, so if he does get the bunt down, he can pick him up and put him down, And if he gets on base, you go to the top of the order with the left-handed hitting Jason Hewitt, and the Perth Heat will really get the ball rolling for themselves here in the bottom of the 5th inning of a tie ball game, 2-2, game 2 of the championship series FAI Cup baseball. The Heat already lead it 1-0.
2-hop ground ball to Stevie Hinton. He comes across. Batista goes down. 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. That will take us back to the top of the lineup. Jason Hewitt will come to the plate. He is 0 for 2 in this game.
2 great shortstops in this ball game. We see that sinking fastball down low. Stevie Hinton, another go-get-'em shortstop, in similarly to the shortstop from the Perth Heat and Bautista. That's what a shortstop has to do. Go and get the ball.
Hewitt takes a curveball down low, 1-0. Just going back to Stevie Hinton. He always seems to be carrying an injury, just with the exuberance and the way he plays the game. He really does put his body on the line and pays the price a lot of times, but you rarely see him miss a game. He's always out there no matter what he's carrying.
Stevie Hinton hasn't had one of his great years. That ground ball up the middle, it's going to be a tough play for Ricky Bennett. He will not make it. So In the booth, we're going to rule that an infield single because Jason Hewitt off the left side runs very, very well. I don't know what the scorer is going to rule it, but you'll see this chopper sinking fastball. Hewitt chops it. Brandon Reed, a la Michael Jordan, can't make the play. Bennett, even if he digs it, you got to believe that Hewitt's going to beat it out. So we're going to give him a single. Ricky Bennett, great young second baseman from his counterpart, Jason Hewitt, the second baseman, but Hewitt's on with an infield single, 1 out, and this man, Clayton Byrne, homered his last time at the plate, sits in the batter's box, Warren Smith, and look out.
Brandon Reed a la Michael Jordan.
Well, he jumped, he leapt, this guy's an athlete for crying out loud.
He jumps, he gets as high as his left big toe. He's Michael Jordan now.
Wow. There's a comparison.
Well, you know how I'm excited. This is game 2, and this is what it's all about. I know you guys love to get on me when I say that.
But I tell you what, with that number on his back, I'm not surprised. That he didn't get up there. That number can lift you to great heights.
That was your number, I think, in the old days.
The same number Shaquille O'Neal wears. He's out for 10 weeks with a busted knee.
Get me over there.
Byrne, 1 ball, no strikes. As you mentioned, Mike, a huge home run tied this ball game up. In the bottom of the 3rd inning, we are still locked together at 2 here as Reed goes across to Allen again.
He's spending a lot of time concentrating on Jason Hewitt. He better concentrate a little bit on the guy that's standing in the batter's box, because a lot of times pitchers will do that and then they'll sit a pitch out over the plate and get hurt.
And I'm sure this isn't that bat that David Nilsson is taking keen interest in the dugout, hoping that Brandon Reed doesn't sit the same pitch he did last time and Byrne tattooed it out of ANZ.
You see, though, Lefty, he's rushing to the plate thinking about Jason Hewitt. He's 2-0, and there's Byrne, hits the ball hard. That ball's fair down the left field line. David Foxover plays it well off the wall and gets it in. Tony Adamson will hold up Jason Hewitt at 3rd base, and that's exactly what we're talking about. He's so worried about Jason Hewitt running. You got to concentrate on the hitters with the Perth Heat lineup. Jason Hewitt comes into the game. Yeah, he's only stolen 6 bags, but you can't be going and sitting that ball out over the plate because Byrne's going to hurt you. And there's the fastball, bang, down the line, double, 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, and the Perth are on fire. The Perth Heat, look out.
Good job by Foxover, but my Clayton Byrne turned on that little puppy. And we see a conference on the mound. David Nielsen going out there just to calm everyone down. Tell him what he expects from him now with 1 out. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. A couple of options here for the Perth Heat.
Nielsen talking to all of his infielders, as well as Brandon Reed and the catcher Peter Yates. That really was a rocket laced down the 3rd baseline by Clayton Byrne, and hasn't he brought his bat here this evening in game 2? 3 for 7 now in the series. Really is beating everything so far in this game. Helped contribute to Brisbane's first run and has made up for it, and maybe then some with his bat ever since. And his fielding to double up David Nielsen at first base. What a play that was.
Over 200 at-bats in the regular season. Clayton Byrne didn't miss a game. 65 hits. 1 and 2. He was one of the top 2 in that category. So Clayton Byrne, a great year. Melvin Rosario takes a fastball for strike 1. So right now they're playing back. They're going to give up a run on a ground ball, less than 2 outs. Because you play in now and a ground ball gets through and it's 2 runs. So they're going to give 1 up. Rosario, ground ball in the hole. Hinton takes it, throws over to first base. Allen over to Gonzalez at 3rd base. Gonzo says, I got him. 3rd base umpire Gordon Wright says no. Really, Stephen Hinton had the runner between 2nd and 3rd. Clayton Byrne hung up. He chose, as you'll see on the replay, Steve Hinton comes over. Now look at Clayton Byrne in the middle of your screen. He's got him hung up. Instead, he gets the out at first base. Allen fires across 3rd base. Gonzo picks it right on Byrne's foot. Gordon Wright right on the action. Safe at 3rd base with 2 outs. But the key here is the Perth Heat take the lead 3-2 against the Brisbane Bandits here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
One thing on that tag, I think that Paul Gonzalez got the tag up on the knee, and of course the lower part of the leg touching.
Greg Jelks pops it up into shallow centre field. Grant McDonald there makes the catch, but not before the Perth Heat assume control here after 5. 3 runs to 2 the scoreline in favour of the Heat.
Right now, this guy, David Nilsson, is trying to win a FAI Cup championship for the Bandits, and he's leading off in the top of the 6th inning with the Heat leading 3-2.
David Nilsson steps up and takes strike 1 from Brett Walters. When he leads off an inning, David Nilsson is batting .636, which isn't all that bad.
.636, I just dream about those things. For me, I'll tell you what.
You have some funny dreams, Michael.
Well, I'll tell you, I want to hit .636.
Inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nilsson so far in this game has flied out to right field and walked back in the 3rd.
David said to Jared then, that's a ball.
That's right. Melvin Rosario wanted that call, but when David Nilsson steps in the box, it's the same in the big leagues. When the great players step in there, they get the respect and the benefit of the doubt. That ball hit deep, but foul. David turned that thing around, the young man. So that evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Mike Young with Warren Smith, and of course lefty Kim Jessup. A great game. The Perth Heat already up 1-0 in the best of 3 at ANZ Stadium. FAI Cup Championship baseball. That man, David Nilsson at the plate. 3-2, the Perth Heat lead.
Brett Walters doing a great job now, settling in well.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Blows one past the major leaguer. And for the 2nd time in this series, Dave Nilsson is struck out. 1 away here in the top of the 6th.
Can't settle in much better than that. Short arm fastball right there. Good spot. Pitcher perfect. Couldn't ask for any more from Brett Walters with that pitch. Gets a key out for his club here in the top of the 6th inning.
Grant McDonald at the plate. Breaking ball down low. 1 ball, no strikes. McDonald has been hit by the pitch and flied out. He is 1 for 5 in this series. The heart of the Bandits lineup really hasn't caught fire as yet. Just 2 hits between the 3, 4 and 5 hitters for Brisbane. Halfway through game 2. Going back 1, Batista takes the shallow pop-up in centre field off the bat of Grant McDonald. It's 2 away. Dustin Allen will come up, trying to get something going for Brisbane, who trail by this lone run.
This one got way up there. Very high pop-up from off the bat of Grant McDonald. Bautista going back and takes the catch.
Walters from the wind-up. Breaking ball there for strike 1.
Dustin Allen, he's pitched Dustin Allen very, very good. Last time at the plate, Dustin struck out on a changeup, a perfect pitch in the outside corner. He starts him off with a breaking ball. There's the fastball away. So Melvin Rosario and Brett Walters, they're really keyed in on each other. It's so important that a pitcher has a catcher that they're thinking alike, because, you know, obviously the catcher's calling the pitches. So these guys really talk to one another in between innings. And right now, that man, Melvin Rosario, who Joe Ferguson, the manager, the head coach of the Perth Heat, thinks there's no doubt about it, the young man hailing from the Dominican Republic will definitely play in the major leagues.
Jake swing from Allen, called for a strike.
Interesting too, Melvin Rosario goes from the 6th spot in the lineup in game 1 up to the 3 spot. Now he's got the sleeves rolled up, showing his pipes. He said, I'm in the power spot now. I'm going to show them all.
He has some pipes as well. Not exactly a slimly built catcher, is he?
Melvin Rosario, throughout the year, we've seen the strength of the throwing arm. Some say the best throwing arm ever to play an FAI Cup baseball. The young man has thrown base stealers, potential, I should say, base stealers out from his knees. So some kind of cannon on the young fella.
Sounds like a couple of Latin Americans in the big leagues already. Ivan Rodriguez and Benito Santiago.
Benito Santiago the man that started doing that, and of course Ivan Rodriguez of the Texas Rangers, the all-star, as Allen hits that fastball up in the strike zone. He got a good pitch to drive, but he pulled it foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. We're in the top of the 6th inning. The Heat lead 3-2. The Heat 3 runs on 3 hits and 1 error. The Bandits 2 runs, 2 hits and 1 error. It's been good pitching by both teams, but the Heat on a Clayton Byrne home run lead 3-2.
Walters comes home up high to Allen. He limbos out of the way of ball 4 and trots up to first base. So the Bandits keep the inning alive. That will get us to the left fielder, David Foxover, who is 0 for 2.
No pressure on Dusty Allen with that pitch. Just get the beak out of the road and head down to first base.
Gentlemen, bullpen time. Brett Walters threw a lot of pitches in that first inning in particular. It's getting to the stage now where both managers are thinking ahead and trying to plot the next couple of innings and just how far Brett Walters and Brandon Reed will go into this game.
Well, it's going to come down when you get into a 3-2 ball game. It's going to come down to your bullpen. Both these pitchers, of course, are professional prospects, and they won't be overthrown as far as pitch count. But I'll tell you what, you know, the hitters really have been helping them out. Both these guys might have been out of this game, Kim Jessup, if the hitters would only swing at strikes. Of course, that first pitch to David Foxover, the perfect example. You've got to be more patient. It's just showing that we're in championship baseball, FAI Cup championship baseball, because these guys, I mean, the heart's going in and out, and they're excited, and you get a little over-anxious.
Another pick-off attempt by Walters. Keeping an eye on Dusty Allen. Yep, that's for sure. You get into this game, and it is just terrific to get here, to play in a championship series like this. It's the ultimate in Australian baseball, the FAI Cup. Everyone wants to be here, and it does. The old ticker goes a little bit quicker.
0-1 pitch is high. 1 ball, 1 strike on David Foxover. Brett Walters goes to the rosin bag. A couple of words of inspiration to himself. Did you talk to yourself much on the mound, Kim?
Oh, mate, yes.
Did you answer yourself, Kim?
No.
That's all right then.
Oh, yes. Quite often abuse myself out there.
Concentrating on Dustin Allen over there with 2 outs, a potential base stealer. If they can get him into scoring position, he will be the tying run. Dusty's stolen 5 bases, but had 9 attempts, so he's 5 for 9. A little over 50%. Not a great base stealing percentage as Foxover hits that ball into the outfield, but Johnny Moore camps under it, takes it easily. So after 5.5 innings, the Bandits go down, 1 runner left on. They lead, the Heat, I should say, lead the Bandits 3-2. We'll be right back with more FAI Cup championship action. Kim Jessup, Warren Smith, and Mike Young as we see David Foxover fly out to end the inning.
The bottom of the 6th, the Sean Jones leads it off against Brandon Reed, who continues on the mound. Jones in this game was hit by the pitch and grounded out to the third baseman, Paul Gonzalez, in his second trip to the plate. Called strike for strike 2.
2 straight sliders, breaking balls from Brandon Reed against Sean Jones. I think so far, Jared Tankard has called a fantastic game behind the plate, the umpire.
0-2 pitch inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. When game 1, there were a couple of instances where batters weren't all that happy with calls made by Jeff Brand as far as the strike zone is concerned. Tonight, that hasn't been the case. Jared Tankard has had a relatively incident-free game as Jones pops up and Steve Hinton hands it for the first out here.
1 up, 1 down. Good start for any inning. Brandon Reed doing the numbers on Sean Jones. Breaking pitch up in the zone, not the best of breaking pitches, got away with it. Steve Hinton takes the catch.
It looked like Jonesy was fooled on the pitch, really was a hanger. As you see a backdoor breaking ball from Brandon Reed. That's a breaking ball that starts outside to a hitter and actually comes over and catches the outside corner. A very difficult pitch to control.
0-1 Metcalf checks his swing. 1 ball, 1 strike now. Scotty Metcalf in this game 0 for 2, but last night a solo pinch hit home run contributed to the Heat's 9-1 victory. A lashing line drive base hit to right field. Metcalf can swing it. Holds, of course, the record in the Australian Baseball League for the most home runs in a single season. That is 22, set back in 1994-95.
See an off-speed pitch out over the plate. Looked like a changeup. Metcalf, a dead pull hitter, laced that ball right by Dustin Allen. So with one out, Metcalf not known for good speed at first base.
John Moore gets a base hit. His second of the game into center field. First pitch from Reed. Moore slaps it into center field. Back-to-back base hits for the Perth Heat. With one away, they have first and second here, and another threat for the Bandits.
Lefty, let's take notice of this. The first time up, John Moore hit that base hit on a fastball. Then Brandon Reed started him with a breaking ball his last time at the plate. This time it almost looked like John Moore was looking for that breaking ball, and Reed hung it. Right now, Brandon Reed is starting to get that breaking ball up. He got away with one on Sean Jones. You cannot do that against the Perth Heat lineup.
No, that's right. Breaking pitch, got to get it right down in the lower part of the strike zone, actually to fall out of the strike zone. That's a picture-perfect curveball when you're trying to attempt a hitter to swing at it. And this will cause some activity now in the Bandits bullpen.
Swung on, fouled back off the bat of Shane Spry. No balls, 2 strikes is the count on the youngster. 0 for 2 this evening, a strikeout and a ground out. Big chance here with Scotty Metcalf at second base and John Moore at first. Spry driving a run and give the Perth Heat a little bit more of a buffer. 3-2 it is in the bottom of the 6th. Inside, Spry ducks out of the way.
Very interesting. I just mentioned the Bandits bullpen is getting active, as to the Perth Heat, and they've got their #1 closer, Mark Eddles, up and throwing. And we are only in, well, the bottom of the 6th inning. This is interesting.
Spry, ground ball, Bennett to Hinton, to Allen, 4-6-3 double play to end it. Reed gets out of a jam, and after 6, it's Perth 3 leading Brisbane 2.
Isn't this a fantastic piece of defense? Again, a breaking ball up in the strike zone. Brandon Reed gets away with it, but look at the young fella, Ricky Bennett, to the Olympian. Look at that, folks. FBI Cup Championship Baseball's the Olympian. Basically hurdles. He should have been a hurdler, not a baseball player. He hurdles the runner coming down, John Moore, who's a tank, the big fella, for the double play. So, great defense in FBI Cup Championship Baseball. Game 2, the Heat already lead, winning Game 1 9-1. And I'll tell you what, we got ourselves a battle on at ANZ Stadium.
Here we are in the top of the 7th, and it will be the right fielder, Brett Ronenberg, who will lead it off against Brett Walters. Up high for ball 1. Ronenberg in this game is 1 for 2, a double off the wall in right center field, and a strikeout. His 2 trips to the dish. Down low, 2 balls, no strikes on Ronenberg, who continues to impress in this his 2nd season with the Bandits.
Joe Ferguson, I would say, going to play all his aces. He wants to shut this series down in 2. Eddles is up there continuing to get ready. Joe Ferguson barking out some commands to his pitcher out there, getting him, I would say we'll see Eddles in this inning the way he is pitching and getting ready.
Check swing, they'll go to third base, but Gordon Wright says no, he didn't come around.
I really like the way the young man's hitting this at bat. Taking 2 pitches, a fastball. He took the 2-0 pitch. They're down a run. I love the way Brett Ronenberg's hitting. Takes another fastball. That is a good at bat from a young hitter. He walks to lead off the inning. Now Joe Ferguson's got to make a decision. Do you go to Mark Eddles? Watch the young left-hander. He never even thought about going after this pitch. Thank you very much, Brett Walters. I'll take the free pass.
And David Nilsson, does he have a decision now in getting Peter Yates to bunt and get the runner across to second base, the tying run that would be, into scoring position?
I believe he will. I believe he will bunt Peter Yates here. Maybe even a hit and run, but with nobody outs, I don't think that'll happen. You got to look for the sacrifice bunt for the veteran catcher.
Yep, and you couldn't ask a better man to put it in. to put the ball in play, that is Peter Yates. He will know the importance of this. It might not be a home run, it might not be a line drive, but a good bunt here will help his ball club out.
Well, Greg Jelks thinks so. He's playing about 20 feet from Peter Yates at third base.
Walters checks Roneberg. Yates squares around, the pitch up high. Yates withdraws.
Look at Jelksy in our screen. He's right on top of him. You know, I'll tell you, this is great baseball. The wheels are turning from both managers. Greg Jelks, you can see him well in front of the third base bag, the veteran third baseman, looking from the bunt from the veteran catcher, Peter Yates.
1 ball, no strikes. Walters goes across, Roneberg back. Well, Yates dropped down the sacrifice bunt in his first at-bat in this game, advancing Roneberg, who had doubled in the at-bat previous. That was in the top of the second. The Bandits eventually scored Roneberg. They led 2-1 at that stage.
David Nilsson, a little trickery. He says, okay, 1 ball, no strikes. I'll let you have a go. I think he'll bunt again on this pitch. He had a 1-0 count. He thought Brett Walters would take a little something off the pitch and set it out over the plate. He did. Yatesy fouled it off.
1 ball, 1 strike. A man on first. Nobody away. The Bandits in the top of the 7th. They trail 3 runs to 2.
Trying to wrong step Ronenberg over there at first base. Greg Jelks will be quite happy on that last pitch that Yatesy is not a known pull hitter.
Tell you what, the eyes were very wide as that one sailed, and I'm sure Greg Jelks isn't quite as close as what he was a moment ago. Yates squares around, the pitch up high again. Everybody charging that time.
I don't think he's going to do it because there's nobody out. There was 1 out. I'd be saying right now, I'd give a call on a hit and run. 2 and 1's the perfect count because the pitcher has to really come in the strike zone here. So Peter Yates, the veteran, you know, most likely will still bunt here. It's very interesting, though. David Nilsson, you know, he's got to pull out all the stops. He's got nothing to lose, already down 1 game.
Down to the first base side. Walters comes across, will flip to Sean Jones, so Yates gets the job done. Ronneberg advances to second base. The Bandits now have 2 chances to drive in the tying run.
Lefty, you can't bunt a ball better than that. Our young viewers, you want to learn how to play baseball. That's called a sacrifice bunt, to see Walters pick it up and easily flip over to Sean Jones, the first baseman. But the veteran Peter Yates comes out of retirement. He was a coach with the Gold Coast Cougars last year. A year off of baseball, and he's had a great year catching for the Brisbane Bandits. He puts Brett Ronenberg into scoring position, and Joe Ferguson will make a trip to the mound. This is very interesting because Gavin Edmondson, they're going to make a defensive change as well. He's going to come in and play right field for Shane Spry. Ferguson's going to make a pitching change. He's going to call in Mark Eddles. Patience is the key, Warren Smith. You have not faced Mark Eddles. Let's see a pitch or two and see what he's got.
Off speed, first pitch for a strike. Hinton takes it all the way.
Forkball there from Mark Eddles. That's his specialty, and that's what he delivered. But then again, if you're calling that a specialty, I don't know what I'd call his curveball, because it is right up there with it, and the man possesses a very potent fastball as well.
0-1. Down low and away, Rosario blocks it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Curveball that time from Mark Eddles. 1 apiece. The umpire's asked to check the ball after it's hit the dirt there, making sure he gets no real advantage over the hitter from some scraping on the ball or dirt riding on the ball. The umpire will check it, put it back into the little bag beside his hip. Mark Eddles gets a fresh one and gets ready to go to work again on Steve Hinton.
On deck is Ricky Bennett, the second baseman. Hinton in this game is 0 for 2. Roneberg stays put at second base. Hinton a big swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
As if a pitcher would take an unfair advantage of a ball being cut or something. But Stevie Hinton again a bit anxious. Fastball upstairs, swinging at it, getting himself into a bit of a hole. 2 strikes, 1 ball.
Very difficult situation of being with Mark Eddles. If he throws the fork ball down in the strike zone, even bounces it in, he's going to have trouble laying off of it.
As if a pitcher would cheat, says the former pitcher. Eddles comes home. Hinton slaps a pop-up into right field. Edmondson on his bike takes the catch. 2 away, and Ronneberg stays put at second base.
Warren, I'll tell you, I love that man, the Olympian Steve Hinton, but he's not had a good night with the bat. A lot of pitches out of the strike zone. That ball's high. Not a good pitch to swing at. Lifts an easy fly ball to the replacement in right field, Gavin Edmondson, the man with the golden throwing arm, who came in for Shane Spry. So Steve Hinton leaves it up to the rookie, Ricky Bennett. 2 outs, the tying run. Brett Ronneberg at second base for the Bandits. We're in the 7th inning, and that man, Mark Eddles, in a big situation, trying to leave that tying run at second base.
This guy's so good. It's all ahead of the Bandits now to try and tie this ball game and or to get ahead. With Mark Eddles on the mound, it's going to be a tough ask.
Bennett the bunt single to the third base side in his last at-bat. The pitch down low. 1 ball, no strikes on Ricky Bennett.
With 2 outs, I don't know, Ricky's trying to bunt the ball. You got to go up there right now. You're trying to drive the run in. You're not going to bunt yourself an RBI from second base. Ricky, he's a young hitter. You got to go up there. You got to gear it up and try to drive the run in with 2 outs from second base.
The left-handed swinging Paul Gonzalez on deck. Eddles from the stretch, checks the runner, then comes home. Fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike. A big moment for the young man. Chance here to tie the ball game up for his club in a ball game they must win to stay alive in this championship series. Facing, as you say, the former San Diego Padre. The intimidating side of Eddles out there on the mound as Gonzalez looks on from the on-deck circle, hoping to get his chance here in the top of the 7th. Rosario sets up on the outside corner. Eddles kicks and fires. Line drive into left center field. Will drop in for a base hit.
Go, you good thing!
Ronneberg comes around third and scores. And we're tied up at ANZ. Top of the 7th, 2 away. And Ricky Bennett makes it Bandits 3, Heat 3.
You can hear the crowd at ANZ Stadium. A fastball up in the zone. The 394 rookie. You heard Kim Jessup. A little bit of bias from our man in the booth.
Not me, no way.
Former Bandit as John Moore, the Olympian, picks it up. Easily, Ronneberg crosses the plate. Bennett a 2-out double. Tie ball game, top of the 7th. FAI Cup Championship baseball at its absolute best. You can't get better than this.
Gonzalez now with Bennett in scoring position. 180 feet away from giving the Bandits a lead here with 2 away in the visitors' half of the 7th. What an occasion for Ricky Bennett against the former major leaguer. And he went into the gap.
Bennett, very good speed. A base hit should score him easily.
Hit hard into the air to right field. This one is gone. And Paul Gonzalez makes it Brisbane 5, Perth Heat 3, and they are on their feet at ANZ Stadium. Somebody pass me a sedative.
Fastball upstairs. See ya, Paul Gonzalez. See ya. The fireworks are going up at ANZ Stadium. You can't get better than this. The Bandits, a 5-3 lead. They're fired up in the dugout. The purple machine, Gonzo. A fastball, an absolute rocket lefty. He didn't lift the ball. It's a fastball up, and he just smoked it to right center field. It didn't look like it was going to happen. And the Bandits, 2 or 3 swings, bang, it's 5-3.
Oh my, the Perth Heat pitching have done such a job on Gonzo in game 1 and up to date in game 2. And there it is, up in the eyes. Paul Gonzalez, his is as big as any basketball right now as he wants that thing clear the home run fence. Joe Ferguson out there talking to his main man, Mark Eddles, trying to get him fired up. He doesn't have to. Mark Eddles is one of the best. You don't have to get him fired up. That man will be chewing his heart out right now for what's just happened. Oh boy, will he be coming back hard on David Nielsen, because there's no way he can afford or want to give the Bandits another chance.
I'd very, very much like to see how he's going to pitch David Nilsson. I'll tell you, Joe Ferguson's not happy. You know, he's sitting there second-guessing Mark Eddles. The heck with that. This guy's a great pitcher. He's the one that got you there with a couple of wins against the Sydney Blues. Don't get upset with him. David Nilsson right now is the guy you got to be concentrating on. It's 5-3 lefty. This is a great ball game.
It is excellent. One thing I think Joe would have been saying to him there, and I, being a forkball pitcher myself, sometimes I used to get carried away and not throw it, thinking I could throw another pitch. And I'd say what Joe has said is gone out there and said, go with what is your best, which is that forkball. And that home run was not a forkball. We could see that. He got the pitch up. Joe has said, go with what you know is right. And that's got to be this man's normally forkball and breaking ball curveball.
And Eddles at the moment is really rattled. Out here, he is still thinking about that pitch he threw to Paul Gonzalez, and he is behind here to David Nilsson, not where you want to be. He'll get out of trouble, though. Nilsson will ground out to end the top of the 7th. But the Brisbane Bandits score 3. 2 of them coming off the bat of Paul Gonzalez. A line drive home run to right field. And after 6.5, it's the Bandits 5, the Perth Heat 3.
We go into the bottom of the 7th inning. The Bandits a 3 spot in the top of the 7th, take a 5-3 lead. That man, Brandon Reed, number 32, former number of Kim Jessup, our commentary co-partner up here. He's got it all on right now, facing the 9-hitter, Juan Bautista. Not a good swing on a first pitch, 58-foot breaking ball.
Well, the last time Brisbane held a comfortable lead, Reed came out and walked the lead off back in the 2nd, and Greg Jelks eventually scored. They led by 2 at that stage. David Nilsson will be hoping the Reed comes out and really challenges these hitters here. Line drive over the third baseman's head, Gonzalez, for a base hit. Batista, the 9-hitter, comes up with a single to lead it off in the bottom of the 7th.
Lefty, he's the 9-hitter. Okay, you got a breaking ball out of the strike zone for a ball. Go after him. I'm sorry, you know, I'm second-guessing the heck out of him here, but he's the 9-hitter. He's a 223 hitter. You don't throw something off speed, and speed is bad up. So now the leadoff hitter, Juan Bautista's on base. This is a big situation. You've got to shut the Perth Heat down when you come back and get the momentum like that.
Jason Hewitt at the plate, the second baseman, trying to bunt down and get Batista across to second base. Hewitt in this game is 1 for 3 as Reed trots back to the mound, and now he has plenty of thinking to do between himself and Peter Yates. Come up with a combination here to hold Batista at first base. 19 stolen bases on the year as Hewitt squares up again. Allen comes in. Bennett covering first base. A little 2-step and a shuffle. Hewitt gets the sacrifice down, and Batista goes to second.
So many good bats. They can wipe a 2-run deficit so quickly, the Perth Heat.
Yeah, they can wipe a 2-run deficit, but you got a lefty versus a righty. You just gave up a base hit. I mean, maybe I'm missing something here, but you're 2 runs down, and you just sacrificed a guy that's hitting 350, a left-handed hitter. Now, I don't know about that. You know, I mean, maybe it's going to work out. I might learn something here in the booth, but I don't know why you would do something like that. Let Jason Hewitt. You're holding the runner on first base, guys, which means you got a hole over on the right side. They decide to play for 1 run here, going through the middle of the order. David Nilsson takes a trip to the mound. He's talking to Brandon Reed, and I'll tell you exactly what he's saying. He's saying, okay, how are we going to work Clayton Byrne? You know, how are we going to do this? You got a base open. How are we going to pitch to him? Who do you want to throw to? You want to throw to Byrne or Rosario? How are we going to pitch? You'll see the replay. It's definitely a sacrifice bunt. Dustin Allen takes it easily over to Ricky Bennett. Ricky does a little soft shoe around the bag, definitely gets the out. You'll see Jeff Brand throwing up the right arm.
Clayton Byrne at the plate. What a night out he's had in game 2 of this series. First swing, pops it up. That will land on top of the roof here at ANZ Stadium. No balls, 1 strike. Byrne is 2 for 3, a strikeout. A solo home run to left field. That was back in the 3rd. That made it 2-2 at that stage. And then he doubled in the 5th.
Brandon's got to get the ball down, or Byrne's going to make him pay again, as Clayton Byrne keeps wiping away the visions of that first inning error.
0-1, line drive over the head of Bennett for a base hit. Around comes Bautista. He will score unchallenged at the plate. And Clayton Byrne makes it 3 hits in his last 3 at-bats, and we're back to a 1-run ball game. Perth close it. It's now Brisbane 5 and Perth 4.
That pitch down the middle of the plate, up in the strike zone. Clayton Byrne drives it into right field, scores 1 run. Clayton Byrne on first base. Melvin Rosario, the number 3 hitter and catcher for the Perth Heat, now at the plate.
No action in the bullpen for the Brisbane Bandits. This is Brandon Reed's game. David Nilsson is letting him go. Melvin Rosario, the catcher, the hitter, grounded out to shortstop his last time at the plate. That ground out, though, scored a run for the Perth Heat. You got to bring the ball down. It's 5-4 the ball game right now. The Perth Heat, after a home run by Paul Gonzalez, had lost the momentum, but they storm back, and it's a 1-run ball game.
By the same token, you have to think that having played for 1 run, that's maybe all they'll get here in this inning, even though they still have 2 outs to do something with it. But Joe Ferguson played a big card by bunting Jason Hewitt.
Well, he did, and it paid off this time. Of course, I was very critical of that in my comments, but now a ground ball double play, and the Bandits will still lead the game going into the last 2 innings. So Joe Ferguson, a lot of confidence in his bullpen and Mark Eddles and his offense to come back in this game.
Outside, not called. 2 balls, no strikes on Rosario.
Deserved confidence it would be too. With this Perth Heat ball club, you don't go and win 40 games in the regular season and not deserve to have plenty of confidence in your players.
They batted .292 as a team. Here's the ground ball they wanted. 6 to 4 to 3. Bennett to Allen to complete it. And the Bandits get out of it, but give up 1 in the process. Rosario's ground ball ends it. And after 7, it's Brisbane 5, Perth 4.
Boy, is lucky to get away with that. He gets the ground ball, gets a double play, but that pitch was up in the zone. Probably poor hitting by Melvin Rosario. FAI Cup baseball, the final, it's coming down to the wire.
This is what it's all about. The last 2 innings, it's a 1-run ball game. Grant McDonald against Mark Eddles. It's the top of the 8th inning. The Bandits lead 5-4. A fastball to Melvin Rosario. Jared Tankred throws up the right arm. 1 strike.
Mark Eddles, after giving up those 3 runs in the top of the 7th, it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from that here in the 8th. Curveball up high, taken all the way by McDonald. 1 ball, 1 strike. McDonald so far in this game has been hit by the pitch and popped up the 2 times hence.
Lefty, very important right now. Mark Eddles comes out and gets 3 outs without a run scoring, because now the momentum is back in the hands of the Perth Heat. They've got the middle to top, the Jelkses and those guys coming up. Mark Eddles gives up a run here. The Bandits could go on to victory.
Very true. Very true. A lot of pressure on Mark Eddles, on the Perth Heat, on the Brisbane Bandits. It's on everyone at the moment.
Inside. Sorry, Kim, and that makes the count even on McDonald. 2 balls, 2 strikes. History, of course, is against the Bandits in this series in 17 postseason series, both playoff and championship series. McDonald takes that pitch inside. The team that wins the first game of the series, as always in the Australian Baseball League at least, gone on to win the series.
In 1991-92, the Perth Heat won their championship, won the first 2, and it took 5 games to win it. Graham Lloyd won the 5th game to beat the Daikyo Dolphins. A bullet down the left field line is Grant McDonald, the Olympian. A leadoff double into left field off of Mark Eddles and the Bandits. The burglar Bandits come back trying to steal a victory from the Perth Heat.
Mark Eddles has been shelled since he came on the mound, brought out of the bullpen by Joe Ferguson with 1 away in the 7th. This was hit very hard inside the 3rd baseline. Since Eddles came on, it's been double, home run, double as far as the hits are concerned. And all of them hit very hard.
You called it earlier, Mike, when we saw Mark Eddles getting ready in the pen, and last night as well, he was up and getting ready in what was pretty much a blowout for the Perth Heat, but surprisingly, with a 5-run lead, they had Mark Eddles up.
Well, they had him up twice, and you don't know. I mean, it's easy to say now, but you don't know what that took out of his arm. Mark Eddles isn't a spring chicken. This man, Dustin Allen, a base hit up center field on a breaking ball. Stuart Robig will hold Grant McDonald at third base with nobody out as Dustin Allen, the .295 hitter, the first baseman, shoots a single to center field, and it's all back on the Perth Heat.
Nightmare at ANZ. They'll rename this outing for Mark Eddles. They brought him in to close it out. The game was his to win or lose, and so far it's been a tale of woe. Allen comes up with a fourth hit off Mark Eddles since he came into the game. And you see what that's done to his confidence, muttering to himself on the hill.
David Foxover, who's now the hitter, he's not considered one of the great hitters in FAI Cup baseball, but he can do those things right there. He can get runs in. Now you'll see that play right there is a great play by Jason Hewitt. Dustin Allen will get tagged out, but David Foxover puts the ball in play. A nice play by Hewitt. Let's recap that situation as Grant McDonald gets all the high fives. A breaking ball from Mark Eddles. He just tries to put the ball in play. You'll see David Foxover. Now watch Hewitt. Dustin Allen stops. Hewitt says, okay, we'll get you out. Now the force is off, which means you have to tag the runner. He goes to Bautista, who chases Allen down for the second out, but not before the run scores. The Bandits now lead 6-4.
That was a big out and a great call on Jason Hewitt, because a lot of players would have chased Dusty Allen and the runner would have got safe at first base. That is a big play. At Dusty backpedaling, he threw the ball, made sure they're out at first. They ran out, go to Bautista. Well, it's all over in a foot race between Dusty and Bautista.
And it was all over as far as McDonald scoring from third base. No doubt about that. And it's 6-4. Brisbane over Perth.
This
Bautista
man
looks on from short. Sorry, Mike.
I'm sorry, Warren. I'm just so excited. Brett Ronenberg, the young fella, hits a foul ball in the break ball. This man really got it going last inning on that Gonzalez home run. Remember that great walk he took. Great, his eye, taking pitches. 18-year-old Brett Ronenberg. It led to that 3-run inning for the Brisbane Bandits. The Bandits are really starting to kick it in the last 2 innings.
Great discipline in a game where it hasn't been shown on too many occasions. Eddles missing to the youngster. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No one on board and 2 away here. The Bandits extending their lead by 1 in the top of the 8th. Ronenberg trying to keep the inning going, and Eddles wondering what's been happening since he arrived. Looks in and kicks and fires. Ronenberg swings and fouls it off at the plate.
Yeah, tough night so far for Eddles. Normal 1-inning closer for his Perth Ball Club. Been sent out there in the 7th inning by manager Joe Ferguson to try and shut it down. Ferguson playing all his cards, I believe, in the 7th inning. And there's the man. Hey, he's been a lot farther than I have in baseball. And, well, he's making the choices, and he's played his cards here. He's putting it on the line for his hitters and his pitcher now to come back.
I can't see Mark Eddles, if it does go to Game 3, a final and decider, as you'll see the off-speed pitch just chopped, fouled on the first base side. I don't think Mark Eddles is going to be available. So, you're going to lose the #1 closer, but, this thing is far from over. I'm counting my chickens before they hatch, and you're talking about the Perth Heat here. You never count those guys out.
2 big calls in the 7th, 1 in the top by Ferguson of the inning, 1 in the bottom. He brought Eddles in with men on and 1 away. We saw what happened, and then in the bottom of the inning, he elects to bunt Jason Hewitt and play for 1 run. That's all they got, and here they are after Brisbane score again, trailing once more by 2. Drop strikeout. Rosario goes back but has time to recover and throw Ronenberg out at first base. That finishes it in the top of the 8th.
The score remains at 6-4 to the Bandits in the bottom of the 8th. We go back to the game in the top of the 9th.
So Eddles straddles the rubber. Looks towards home plate where Peter Yates waits. The Bandits leading 6 runs to 4 here in the top of the 9th. 3 outs away, the locals, if not the home side for this series, from levelling the series as Yates grounds out to the shortstop Batista, who throws in plenty of time to Jones.
Mark Eddles getting the lead-off out. Fastball. Peter Yates in the buckets. Just grounds it to Bautista. Comes up with a rocket arm. Doesn't really need it at this time to get the first out.
He's been a lot of fun, Warren Smith, to watch, Juan Bautista.
They really have done so well over the years with their imports, the Perth Heat. Some guys who have come out in the form of Damon Buford, Kamara Barty. A lot of success in the professional ranks back with the Baltimore Orioles, and some guys who have also just really lit up the Australian Baseball League, including Curtis Goodwin, another centre fielder. They always seem to get top prospects out from the States, as Hinton misses that by a long way.
Steve Hinton could hold up in the breaking ball. 3 straight center fielders come out for the Perth Heat. All 3 have played in the major leagues. So great prospects have played in FAI Cup baseball.
Eddles off speed up high. Hinton turns the shoulder. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 away here in the top of the 9th. I'm sure Mark Eddles didn't envision this scenario when he came in from the bullpen to relieve Brett Walters, who had done such a good job keeping the Bandits in check. Hinton, room service hop to Greg Jelks, who takes a couple of extra steps. Gets it across to Jones for out number 2.
Good job by Mark Eddles so far in this inning. Getting the first 2 hitters that he's had to face. Replay forkball right there. Steve Hinton gets that 1 hopper to Greg Jelks. Room service, as Warren calls it, and was right on the chest for Greg Jelks, and similarly across to Sean Jones.
Greg Jelks, the veteran, a serious look on his face. 1 inning away from going to Game 3, FAI Cup Championship Series. Greg Jelks, it's all business for that man. The batter is Ricky Bennett. 2 straight hits, a big 2-out double that preceded the Gonzalez home run as Bennett again bunts. He had a bunt single in his 3rd at bat. So the young man come into the game, Warren Smith, with a .394 batting average, a 2-out double to score run, and then Gonzalez hit that home run. This has been fantastic baseball.
And he just continues to impress. We were talking about in that at-bat where he hit the double, he shaped bunt on the first pitch from Mark Eddles, and really it was almost an indication that he was overmatched. Well, that wasn't the case, was it?
Well, the man got up and swung the bat, which he should have in that situation with a guy in scoring position at 2 outs, and he got the job done. A great future, it looks like, for Ricky Bennett.
1 ball, 2 strikes now on the second baseman. With those 2 hits, he is 2 for 3 in this game and 3 for 7 in the championship series. Eddles up high again.
Losing the grip on that forkball, letting it get away.
Lefty, Mark Eddles is a closer. He's been up twice yesterday. He's thrown, he's going into his 3rd inning. Breaking ball, that ball's going to find it's got eyes, it finds the hole, a 2-out single by Ricky Bennett. You know, it's not easy for Mark Eddles. He throws a lot of forkballs, a lot of breaking balls. That takes the toll on your arm. And over the course of a game, and you know, he got him up in the bullpen last night, you see a breaking ball, and Ricky Bennett just finds the hole with it. You know, that's going to really pay, you know, going to hurt you later on in the series, and right now it looks like Mark Eddles is pretty much spent.
Yeah, I think the big fella's only got a bit of loose change left at the moment. Home run hero for the Bandits at the plate, Paul Gonzalez.
And he may be spent, but Ferguson has to be careful here to keep the Bandits within a couple of runs. He doesn't want to give them any more of a buffer than they already have. 1 false pitch here to Gonzalez could make it 4 or at least 3 runs the lead, and well, he's not going to waste any time. He's seen that Mark Eddles is done out there, and Eddles will come out of the game and somebody will come in to relieve him. It hasn't been Mark Eddles' night.
Robbie's bringing with him a 2.36 ERA. We see he also has 1 save in FAI Cup baseball this year. He has given up 35 hits, 12 base on balls, 23 strikeouts. A good ratio for the young fella, and obviously being Rookie of the Year has done a great job for his Perth Ball Club.
Gonzalez waits, swings and misses at the off-speed pitch.
And I might add a nice tidy 6 wins, 1 loss record.
Well, you know, Robbie Wells shows us the effectiveness of a good left-handed pitcher versus left-handed hitters. You've got to throw the curveball and get them out with breaking balls. If you can do that, you're going to be effective. He comes in with 2 straight breaking balls. This time Gonzalez finds the hole, but not a bad pitch from the lefty. He comes in, this young kid shows a little savvy. Comes in not afraid to throw the curveball and gets the ball down, but Gonzalez, the veteran, just finds the hole with the ground ball.
Rob Wells possesses the goods, there's no doubt about that. We see that breaking pitch, keeps it up in the zone a bit. Paul Gonzalez, a man of his caliber, he does the number on that one. Robbie Wells going to have a job ahead of him now.
Hey, how exciting is this for the 18-year-old? He most likely grew up watching this guy hit, and he's sitting out there, FAI Cup Championship baseball, and he's facing most likely one of his heroes in David Nilsson.
David Nilsson is hitless in this series, and that won't last for too long, knowing David Nilsson. First and second, 2 away, top of the 9th. Brisbane 6, Perth 4. Bennett's at second. Nilsson takes a pitch on the inside part of the plate for a strike.
Very good pitch by Robbie Wells. He threw 2 straight breaking balls to Paul Gonzalez. David Nilsson was looking curveball, took that fastball easily. If he's looking fastball inside, he swings.
Wells kicks and fires. Down and in, not called by Jared Tancred. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Keep the ball in, keep it down. Try and stay away from the power zone of Nilsson.
Now what does he throw? Curveballer was Nilsson. Grounds it foul.
David was looking curveball, 2-1, lefty versus lefty. I really like the poise by the 18-year-old with first and second. He's coming right after the big leaguer, the 6th leading hitter in American Major League Baseball last year. Robbie Wells looks like he's going to have a fantastic future in FAI Cup baseball.
Checks Bennett, then comes home. That one right down the middle and gets the major leaguer. Strike 3. And after 8.5, the Brisbane Bandits will come out to field in the bottom of the 9th, needing 3 outs to send this series to Game 3.
Lefty, the young fella just set himself up. That's a dream at bat that he just pitched to one of his heroes, David Nilsson. He'll remember that. Look at Robbie Wells. That's why he's Rookie of the Year. That kid has a future.
The right fielder coming into the game as the defensive replacement, as you say, Mike, for Shane Spry. Hit 263 on the regular season as Reed comes in with a strike. First pitch to Edmondson. He had 3 home runs and 20 RBIs. He'll be looking to get on board any way he can. Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes. Edmondson in the hole.
Good curveball, Kim, from Brandon Reed. Good spot. Edmondson yet to face Reed, coming in as defensive replacement, his first at bat. 0-2, you want to make a good spot with this pitch.
Gets him to chase one outside. Edmondson barely gets a bat on it to stay alive.
Does, great pitch. Tempted, you know, I said you don't want to get a hit off your own 2. That ball was right on the money. It was enough to tempt Edmondson, and he just got enough bat on it to stay there for another.
0-2 again, and drills him right in the back of the leg. Once again, Brandon Reed gets the lead-off man on board. Brings, as a consequence, the tying run to the plate.
Not what you wanted. 0-2 count. Really had Edmondson on the ropes. That could really hurt the Brisbane Bandits. Juan Bautista, the hitter, the 9-hitter, coming to the plate, but Edmondson goes to first base. The tying run, Juan Bautista stands at the plate.
Batista tonight is 1 for 3. 1 coming in his last at-bat when he Single to left field.
Not a good double play combination as far as hitter and runner here. Bautista can scoot, so a ground ball is going to have to be a hard hit one for the Bandits to turn a double play on this man.
Last time up it was a curveball the Bautista got around on. This time Reed looks intent on giving him nothing but the gas.
As Mike said, it's no use giving this man, a number 9 hitter, give his bat a chance to catch up with the breaking ball. He's got to go hard and go after him right here.
Gets him to chase something outside. He sits down.
It looked like Warren Smith. There was a little bit of a cut fastball or a slider. He just got it outside. Juan Bautista comes into the game, a 226 hitter, can't catch up outside the strike zone. That's what happens when you get ahead in the strike ball count. No balls, 2 strikes. You got to widen your strike zone a little bit and be a little bit more aggressive, and he gets him outside the strike zone. So Jason Hewitt comes up now, the same situation, except there were nobody out with first base. The hole open, and he swings at a first pitch fastball. Earlier in the game, if you remember, Warren, you and I were talking about it, they bunted Jason Hewitt in this situation with nobody out in a 2-run deficit. It cost them because they only scored 1 run. This man's a 350 hitter. You want him up in this situation.
Edmondson at first base. Hewitt grounds it foul. He goes behind. No balls and 2 strikes. And Reed so far has come out and challenged each of these hitters with fastballs.
Kim Jessup in this situation, you know, you're holding the runner on first base. Jason Hewitt, he'll pull ground balls through the hole. You know, he's good at that, and right now you'll see Brandon Reed, you know, you don't want to really give him something off speed that he can get around on, because you got the hole open at first base because Dustin Helen has to hold on that runner, Gavin Edmondson. So a ground ball on the right side could get through and put the tying run in Jason Hewitt on first base.
Clayton Byrne on deck. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hewitt strikes out. Yates hangs on to it. The Bandits 1 out away from tying up this championship series.
He took a chop at that, Jason Hewitt. I think it may have been a change-up. We watched the pitch. Nah, it's just that sinking fastball down low. Jason Hewitt knows it wasn't a good pitch to swing at, but he's back in the dugout. We got 2 out, and here he is, the man of the moment for the Perth Heat, one way or the other, Clayton Byrne.
3 consecutive hits. It's been home run, double, and single his last 3 trips to the plate. Reed starts him off inside, ball 1.
Clayton Byrne, right now it's for all the chips. Brandon Reed, a lot of pitches. He's gone the distance. You got to keep the ball down. That ball goes to the backstop. That is not a big deal because Gavin Edmondson, still, they're 2 runs up. You're not going to worry too much about that. Now here's the key in this situation. If there's a base hit, you let the run score. You keep Clayton Byrne out of scoring position. You don't try to get silly. You'll see if the cameras can span. The outfield's very, very deep. They'll let that run score and keep Clayton Byrne out of scoring position.
2 balls, no strikes to Byrne. Inside, that one strikes him on the leg as well. The second hit batter in the inning by Brandon Reed. Byrne will trot to first base. Now, that brings the winning run to the plate in the shape of Melvin Rosario.
And right on the elbow. Ouch.
Brandon Reed, what a gutsy effort from this guy, man. He sucked it up. Definitely he is spent. Right now, I'll tell you, he has done everything he can do. David Nilsson says, hey, big guy, you're the one that got us here. We're going with you. And right now we have the tying run at first base. Melvin Rosario, a very good left-handed hitter at the plate. He's the go-ahead run. David Nilsson's coming to the plate. Coming to the mound. This will be interesting to see what he's going to do. Melvin Rosario is a much better hitter left-handed than right-handed. The left-handed pitcher in the bullpen, they're warming him up in the bullpen, so you might want to turn around Melvin Rosario, and it looks like David's going to make the change. How about Brandon Reed's effort?
8 2/3 innings pitched. He got them all the way to the last out. Brisbane's season resting on the shoulders of David Gooder as Rosario, the switch hitter, now batting right-handed. Edmondson is at second base. Clayton Burners at first. Both runners hit by the pitch of Brandon Reed. First pitch popped up, slicing out of play, foul. No balls, 1 strike.
Here we go. It's all on the line here right now. David Gooder, my former roommate with the Bandits. I used to keep that boy slim. I'd send him out to get the food when we got back to the hotel. He did a lot of running when he was my roommate, and I hope he's got the legs for his club tonight. And of course the Perth Heat got their money riding on Melvin Rosario.
0-1 the count. Gooder comes home. Swung on again and fouled back. Rosario goes deep in the hole, 0-2. The Bandits 1 pitch away from wrapping up game 2.
David Gooder wasting no time right at Melvin Rosario, and Rosario's not getting cheated. He gets 2 fastballs and he's hacking. 2 great baseball teams matching up like heavyweights in the center of the ring, punching it out.
No balls, 2 strikes. Rosario trying to keep it alive for Perth. Off speed, not called by Jared Tancred. Greg Jelks on deck.
That was a very good pitch by David Gooder. He showed Rosario the breaking ball out of the strike zone, trying to get him to chase.
1-2. Rosario, a soft pop-up over the head of Gonzalez, lands foul. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes, and everybody on the edge of their seats here at ANZ, including the commentary team.
Everyone's got to be loving this. This is great. This is grand final baseball. This is what you pay to see, and the fans are getting just that.
Barely a fingernail left in the house, and Rosario has it at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gooder looks into Peter Yates. They ask for timeout.
All your defenses playing, the infielders protect the lines, no doubles, they no extra base hits. A 2-run lead by the Bandits as Gooder fires that ball again. Tony Adamson, a little Barishnikov, has to jump over the foul ball by Rosario. Rosario stays alive.
In this game, Rosario has just the 1 base hit. That was back in the first. He eventually was caught stealing. Since then, it's been a fly out, a ground out, and a double play ground ball as well last time round. 1-2 pitch. Swings and misses. And we go to game 3. The Bandits win it. 6 runs to 4 in game 2. And this championship series is tied at 1 game apiece.
Kim Jessup, should I say it, Warren Smith?
Go right ahead.
This is what it's all about. FBI Cup Championship Baseball. Kim Jessup, Warren Smith, and Mike Young. A fantastic baseball game. The Bandits go and take the lead. Heat fight back, and the Bandits on a Paul Gonzalez home run win the game. Brandon Reed and David Gooder with the save. We're going to go to game 3. It all came down to this. 1 game for all the marbles.
And it's been some time since the championship series has gone to the final and deciding game, and David Gooder walks off the mound. A relieved pitcher, Kim Jessup.
First time in 4 years since the 3-game grand finals concept come into play that it has gone to game 3, and David Gooder, oh boy, he got that fastball right by the batter, Melvin Rosario. Push it into game 3. Let's come back and do another.
So quickly going through the stats, the Brisbane Bandits, 6 runs on 8 hits. They made the 1 error, left 6 on board. The Perth Heat, their 4 runs coming from 10 hits, 1 error. They left a costly 10 men on base.